doing these things with AccuPOSE, it saves so much time from our previous iterations of the software. Okay. Now I can see the chat. Okay, interesting. I didn't touch anything, I swear. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see this now. Um, Standing, sitting, down there, and we're good to go. Okay, let's go to our last example here. This is going to take a few minutes again. This is just very simple stuff. We're going to have our character do some parkour. All right, and for this one, I'm going to load it in a different project. This project is going to be called Peak Removable. Nope, we're not removing any mountain peaks. We are removing some peaks from some motion capture error data. Oh, great. Fantastic. We get a watermark there. All right, let's just activate purchased items. Okay. Watermark be gone. All right, so for this example here, it's going to take a trained eye to see this, but we have a little bit of jittering. You can see at this frame here, look at the leg. Okay, the leg goes bloop, bloop, bloop like that. Right? This is raw motion capture data. So sometimes in motion capture, you get some glitches like this, where it'll be like glitch like that. And this one here is the hand. Okay, hand glitching right there. And then there's some hand glitching at the very end there as well. You can see it glitching like that. Now, generally to remove these, I'm not sure if anyone checked out the motion capture cleanup tutorial. Let's take a look at this, for example, where's the leg one here? The leg one right here, okay? So at approximately frame 126. All right, so what we can do is we can go up to the curve editor here. And we're going to go ahead and let's make sure the character is selected first. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we won't worry about that right now. You know what? I'm just going to go, we're going to ignore the motion capture stuff right now because I want to just go ahead and use AccuPOSE. Since the theme of today is AccuPOSE and we have kind of limited time, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and okay, we'll do one really quick one here. So let's go ahead and open up our curve editor. We'll just plant it over here. All right. What did we do? Oh, now it's down here. I moved the wrong one. Okay, so let's just move our curve editor here. All right, I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so what we need to do is since we have the leg issue at frame, what is it, frame 126, 127, let's go to that in the curve editor here. And what we need to do is we need to actually go to the animation layer here too. Normally I have that down here. We need to unlock the base motion layer. So this is the layer that contains all of your data here in the clip. That's the base motion layer. That's actually the data in the clip. So you need to unlock that first. Okay, make sure it's unlocked. It's hard to see, to be honest. But once that's unlocked, and then you can see the curve editor data is available. And let's just search for thigh, I think it is. Left thigh. And if we take a look at the thigh values right here, doesn't look like anything in the thigh. I think it might be the calf. What we're looking for is peaks. Or was it for this one, was it thigh? Could be higher up. Hip. Let's zoom in here a little bit. This is odd. It should be about this frame here. Oh, you know what? We're at the wrong frame, aren't we? We need to go further down. This frame right here. Let's make sure that we should see a peak somewhere here. In one of the thighs, at least. This is a very odd situation. Anyways, there should normally be a peak here. Let's try the hand. Let's try the hand one right here. That should be easy. Okay, this one right here where the hand is. Let's type in hand. Okay, so we have hand rotation. Again, we're at frame, this frame right here. This would be the weirdest thing ever if there's no peaks. Okay, generally there should be a peak. Oh, you know what? Am I not zoomed in enough? I knew I never should have done this. Oh, we're in layer keys. Transformation? No, it should be layer keys. And there should be a peak here somewhere. Okay, maybe I'm zoomed in too much. Anyways, what I'm going to do here is we're going to select all of these just to be sure, and we're going to click and drag here. The visuals are weird for some reason. Oh, there we go. You need to press F and zoom in there. So if you press F and you zoom in, you can see the peak right there. All right, there we go. All right, so there's our peak. It seems to be in the left-hand rotation, and the left-hand rotation Y and Z. All right, so if we select all of those, shift select all of those, sorry for that, guys, and click and drag and select, marquee select all of them, we can go up to filter, and we can do, there's a number of different ways we can remove, get this fixed. And there's, you can watch that Mocap cleanup tutorial for more on this. You can just click on remove peaks, and you can preview mode, and it just basically just switches like this. It goes, okay, you can increase or decrease the strength value right here to remove those peaks. And there you go, and apply it. All right. And this example right here with the head bobbing, you see at the end there's a head bob right there. Let's do that. Let's click on head. And this will be the head rotation probably. Let's get all of those, make sure we're on the right frame. There you go. There's our peaks. So we can just go ahead and, again, I'm holding Shift and Alt and clicking and dragging to zoom in and out of my panel there, or my graph. If we click on preview mode, you can see the preview right there. Make sure your strength is set to the right amount there, and go ahead and apply that. It looks like our head rotation is, there's something else. Rotation Z maybe? Oh yeah, rotation Z. There we go. Sorry, I'm just kind of whizzing through this, but remove peaks is fine. Preview. Okay. I'm not sure why the head rotation is still like that. Might be neck twist probably. All these bones you got to worry about when it comes to this stuff. So again, same thing, preview. There we go. That should get rid of the issue. All right. So we got rid of that head movement right there. Okay. Easy enough. Now, what I want to do is I wanted to add in some really quick, I'm going to do this in like 2 seconds here. We're going to add in some AccuPOSE motions into this character's repertoire here. So you can see here, he kind of does like a little bit of a jump right here. And we have a cool path. Let's close down the curve editor now. Or a cool AI training model, rather. If we go up to motion and let's go up to AccuPOSE once again. If we go up to the parkour under action adventure, there's a parkour training model. As he's about to jump here, what we can do is we can just do this really quickly. This is how easy it is to integrate and quickly it is to integrate AccuPOSE poses into your animation. So, you know, he does like a kind of a cool jump. I mean, that's kind of cool. Is it really cool enough though? Let's find out. So as he's launching right here, what I can do is I can create a keyframe by selecting reset pose. Okay, that's going to create a key. Make sure we have that right. Well, okay, let's just add a keyframe here. Reset pose should not do that. I'm going to apply a pose to my character. And this would be the first one is the jump to the side. Okay, as he's moving to the side like this. Okay, so he's doing that. We're going to use jump flip side like this. All right, and now I think if we go down here, okay, it just integrates right into it. we have like this, and I'm going to press reset pose now. Not sure why it's going back to a T pose. That's so strange. Okay, anyways, we have this jump start 1, jump start 2, then jump start 3. Okay, and then he's going to land like that. So we have this. Oh, it's just doing for a single frame. I think there might be a little bit of a bug here, but generally, oh, motion track. Oh, well, I'm not sure why there's so many keyframes in the motion layer track. That's probably why. Let's try and flatten this. Okay, this should work now. So right here, let's make sure we turn off that camera. That's annoying. I'm not sure why there was so many motion or keyframes in the motion track there, but make sure you don't have any like a track full of motion clips or motion keyframes there before you do this. 101. Funny things always happen when I'm doing live demos. It's probably my fault, but anyways, reset pose here. Okay, that adds a keyframe in the motion layer track. That's what I wanted. Okay, and then here, uh, he's doing that jump like that. We can make it cooler, like I said, I promise. Jump flip side, jump flip side 2, and then jump flip side 3. Obviously, the timing of this can be better. Then he's going to land, and here we got to reset pose again. Okay, so here now instead of that lame little jump we have this kind of cool jump. So we go, whoa. Okay, and I mean here as he lands, you can do something like you can modify his landing position. So right here, as he lands, we can adjust the timing. We can actually go in here and go to our control panel and press compute as well. And that kind of compute is something I wanted to mention earlier. This often, if you have a sort of unnatural looking motion or unnatural looking pose, you can press compute and it'll kind of optimize it to look a little bit more natural. Okay. So as he's moving like this, his right foot or his left foot is planted there. He probably won't land, as smoothly as that. So again, we can supplement that with the edit motion layer tool here and bring his hip down. So make sure we have that motion layer clip right there. Okay, good. And here he's going to land like this. Obviously from there to there. Boom. And then here we can bring that back up. All right, so we have a little bit of a landing like that. And of course, like I said, you'll see the foot sliding right there. What I would do, let's have a couple minutes here. What I would do in this case is I would probably just, again, use the reach target on the left foot there. I would probably take the left leg, rotate it a little bit further out, like that. We could probably actually take the left foot since the constraints are on there. Move that out like that. Okay, so that looks a bit better. I think that looks cool. Okay, so that's more of a natural sort of landing position. We bring it up a bit more like that. And then I would probably take the reach constraint for the left foot and plant it a little bit longer. Again, I'm just totally spitballing here. But left foot, create dummy. And that would stay in place a little bit longer. And then as he plants his left foot, probably at this point here, we can release that reach target. Reach. All right, so we can release that reach target right here. Where is it on the foot? Okay, make sure that you have your transition time basically to nothing. Okay, so like this, like that, and then here we're going to release it. And then, of course, make sure that there's no transition there. So left foot planted, and then right foot planted here. That right foot kind of slips forward like that. So that's probably due to the reach target on the right foot. Again, this stuff is always really fun, right? Create dummy for the right foot. There, that fixed that. And then release. Release probably here. And there we go. That should fix it. Okay, so right foot, left foot planted, and then there we go. All right. So again, using the reach target and in combination with the edit motion layer tool, that can often use those in combination together, you know. It often does fixes a lot of things. You can fix 90% of your problems with those two tools, to be honest. And layering them on top of AccuPOSE is just another powerful way to, you know, fix things. You know, and if we find this guy's hands are too strange, we can use, you know, they're a little bit rigid. We can just use a gesture from the motion library. This is the last thing I do, I swear. Gesture. Let's give him more of a relaxed finger. Stroke hand, whatever that is. I don't know. Looks more relaxed anyways. There you go. And of course that hand jittering is there that we didn't fix. That's a different hand jitter right there. All right. Cool. All right, that's all I got to do, guys. Sorry to go a little bit overtime there. We had a little bit of snafu with for some reason Zoom left the building. But we're gonna go now into the Q&A. Thanks everyone for sticking with me. Some people were asking about, yeah, maybe my Y scale is too big. Oh, don't. I'm such a dummy when it comes to those things. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just press the F key. That's what I always do. Press the F key to like focus on that area of the curve editor. So apologies for the curve editor snafu there, and for the leaving the building. But we're gonna get to our Q&A finally here. All right. So if you guys have any questions, please put your questions in the Q&A panel. We already have a number of questions set up here. So again, thank you for your patience, and let's go ahead and get to our Q&A then. So we got Siddharth Danda first up here. I want to know if you can save custom poses in AccuPOSE library or anywhere else. You can save the custom poses not in the AccuPOSE library, unfortunately. So the reason all the poses in AccuPOSE are there is because they are basically AI trained poses. And they are integrated into the AccuPOSE AI library. If you threw like your custom motion, your custom pose in there, for example, like it wouldn't really know what to do with it. It's like it's not a generative active AI. It's just AI data that we've taken and put it into AccuPOSE to work together. So you know, iClone is not an AI tool by itself. It's not going to you know, generate AI poses by itself. So unfortunately, you can't put them into the AccuPOSE library, but of course you can save out your custom poses. Say, for example, for some reason, I thought this pose was cool. You know, basically all you do, tilting my camera again here. Yeah, can you guys see my video? Hopefully you can see my face anyways. Uh, yeah, if I wanted to, you know, save this pose, for example, we just go over here to our custom tab and go to animation and pose. And then I would save it as, you know, super duper pose. Whoops, pose. There we go. Okay. All right, now it would appear in my custom pose library. Right here, super duper pose, right? He looks like he's kind of like ready to fight, like a Bruce Lee sort of thing. It's kind of cool. All right. Hopefully that answers your question there. Where did my Q&A panel go? All right. Thanks for the questions, Siddharth. Question from Robert. Submitted question disappeared. Well, it's up next. I can see it. So, Robert Francis, my question is to see if any info possible on future animation support for easy quadrupedal support. So quadrupedals, whatever you want to call them. Uh, they are, you know, beings, creatures, animals with more than two limbs, more than two arms. So, like, you know, Goro from Mortal Kombat would be a quadruped. Quadruped, that's the word. Oh, sorry, it's morning here. And yeah, animation support on that. I believe we are working on a quadruped motion pack. I do believe. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard rumors that we are working on a content pack that involves quadrupeds, most likely horses or dogs or stuff like that. We have it for cartoon animators, surprisingly, but we don't have it for iClone yet. But animation support for them, yeah, it's in the works for sure. Because we have so many people asking for that. So, and I know it's frustrating to, you know, animate a quadruped by yourself, keyframe by keyframe, or try and find quadruped motion capture motions, which are even harder. But yeah, we are working on quadruped support, and I believe in the next version of iClone they have something coming up regarding that. I'll know more about that next week. So we have our year-end meeting and stuff next week, so we'll get all the updates on the 2025 calendar of what we're going to be doing. All right. Anonymous attendee asks, is it possible to change the root location of an AccuPOSE item to apply to an existing clip and or character? Yeah, you can change the root location of an AccuPOSE character. There's a number of ways you can change the root of your character. So in AccuPOSE, for example, you have this pose alignment, like I mentioned earlier. You can align it to the previous keyframe or next keyframe. You can choose root or whatever position. Another way you can do things is the way I often do it is in the timeline. If you wanted to align a motion clip to another motion clip. So let's say, for example, we have let's add another motion onto the end of this here. So where is he? He's left the building. Let's maybe break this motion clip right here. And let's add another motion on here. Let's close down this and let's try and find a motion. I'll just show you a brief bit of motion mixing here in this parkour pack. What should he do? Let's have a parkour flare, whatever this is. Let's just do this one. No, not a back roll. We want to do a flip. All right, this one will work fine. All right, sorry guys. So we have him, he stops here, and we can just blend these two together. All right, so basically the root is the same here, but if the root was different, you can just like right click on your clip. Say for example, in the blending, actually it does look pretty good. Maybe I use an example that's too easy to fix, but we can actually like right click on this clip and select align and align to the right foot, for example. And this is going to align this clip to the right foot of the previous clip, okay? So do not select align whole clip, because if you align whole clip, it's going to align the entire clip to the right foot. And that's going to look weird if he's running forward, right? So if I align to the right foot right here, okay, I'll take a brief step forward. And now it's the right foot that's planted, okay? So now it's the left foot that slides and the right foot that's planted. Let's try and do this. Gosh. You're going to see my closet soon. How embarrassing. All right, so there you go. I think that looks kind of cool, actually. I mean, it worked out really well. Maybe too well. But anyways, if you want to change the route, that's probably one of the best ways to do it. There we go. Let's move my screen down here so you guys can see me here. You can see my chest, maybe. Collins, next question rather. Collins, after installing my AccuPOSE, I get this message when opening my edit motion layer. You can disable effect by add off a key in the spring track. Yeah, so that's a general thing. I think the clouds are out now. That's a general thing, Colin, when you add you open up the edit motion layer tool. I think it just normally pops up. Yeah, this object contains spring effects. You can disable the effect by adding an off key in the spring track before using the edit motion layer tool. Generally, if the character has spring effects, this by default normally. I think most of the CC3 Plus characters have spring effects. Most of them don't need them unless you have a fairly, for example, maybe an ample woman, we'll just say. Then the spring effects may come in handy. But generally, you don't need to worry about that. But there is the spring track down here. And if you right-click in the spring track there, whoops, you can just kind of click on this. You should be able to right-click and just delete it. Okay. Yeah. I think that's basically the easiest way to do it. I forget how you, I think it's in your attributes here. You can also disable springs. Yeah, spring effect down here. Just activate on or off, okay? on or off. I don't use spring effects too often myself, but yeah, that's how you can activate or deactivate it. But again, most cases it doesn't really matter. If you have spring effects, generally you want them to be active anyways. So, um, okay, Rafid asks, why did you choose a monthly subscription model? It was so disappointing since I chose your software for the one-time payment. We're kind of experimenting with that, to be honest, and that's not really the choice isn't really up to me. But a business is a business, really. I know the monthly subscription model for a lot of long-time Reallusion users is a little bit disappointing, but there may be changes in the future. I'm not sure. I can't really talk much about that, but to be honest, it's just a little, it's a trend. It's a thing we're kind of going with for the time being. And again, I'm not going to say anything positive or negative about it, but yeah, it's generally what's going to happen for now. And yeah, I won't really say much more about that, unfortunately. It's above my pay grade, as they say. Um, Next question from Carlos Williams. Is there still a one-time option instead of subscription? Yeah, so not right now. So right now, AccuPOSE is going to be the subscription model. I can't really comment more on that, unfortunately, like I mentioned. Um, Next question from Rainier Rosinke. My question was, would it be possible to use AccuPOSE to add the motion director library with own created motion clips? Oh, a good question. I haven't, AccuPost just came out, and I've only been using it myself for probably a month or so, a little bit more than a month. So to be honest, I haven't done any AccuPost to motion director stuff. That's an interesting question, though, Rainer. I think if you can put in your feedback, if you fill out the feedback form, put that in there, and I think we can probably, once I get more details on how things work, I can probably look at making a tutorial on that. By the way, there's a tutorial coming out at the end of this week that is going to talk more about AccuPose, and it goes into a lot more detail about what I talked about today, keyframing, the reach targets, and customizing your animation. It's a really cool tutorial, so I hope you guys check that out. But yeah, sorry, Rainer, I'm not sure yet, but if you guys wanted to learn more about how AccuPose can interact with Motion Director, definitely open to doing something like that once I know more about the workflow. So. Sherry Mitchell asks, I have an existing animation and want to add an AccuPose a few frames after it. How do I get a smooth transition between the two? The AccuPose is a head turn and it snaps to the side instead of being smooth, gradual turn. Sherry, there's a number of ways. As you can see, I was troubleshooting myself through all these, various motions, various interactions between motions. It really depends on the specific scenario. I'd have to kind of look into more detail at it, but you can often use the edit motion layer tool to supplement to kind of create a smoother transition. So I'm not sure if you recall if you were here when I did the walking cycle. So using the animation layer tool, you can just add layers onto, add different animation layers, add a layer, add a layer. It's not going to affect your basic motion, but you can add a layer and just experiment with the edit motion layer tool. So if I had like a head jerk in a weird way, what I would do is I would add an animation layer, and I would use the edit motion layer tool to kind of adjust maybe the head position at different frames and see if that worked. Because that's not going to affect the previous layer where the two clips are blending together. This is a very good way to make sure that you're not affecting another layer, so your base layer. Just add another layer and use the edit motion layer tool. Hopefully that's clear. That would be my initial step anyways. Question from Daryl. Will we be able to create and save poses for a personal AccuPose library? Yeah, so I mentioned that earlier in the previous question. Unfortunately, not, just because it's all AI trained to work together at this point. So yeah, we don't have an integrated AI. It's just AI data basically that's being used. So yeah, sorry about that, Daryl. Gregory Howard asks, does this work with physics? Yeah, basically everything works with physics. No problem. You can just activate physics on anything. Not really involved with AccuPOSE. So thanks for the question, Gregory. Rosemary asks, did my question disappear? It seems like your question did disappear, Rosemary. I don't see a question from you yet. So maybe let us put that question once again in the Q&A. We'll get to that. All right. Next question from Make It Move Media. I love that there is a compute button to help fill the gaps. Any tips on using that? Yeah, thanks for the question, Make It Move Media. The compute, a really good scenario. For example, I probably shouldn't have delivered if I went back to the sit up, for example, the sit up pose. So I didn't pay attention really to where my hands were. I mean, I think I saw the hands were kind of going through the head mesh. I didn't place them completely correctly. So something like that, for example, where the hands are kind of through the head mesh, or the elbow is sort of through the knee mesh. If you're like sitting and thinking like that statue or whatever. Um, if you use compute at that point, generally it'll fix those things, because compute, it'll be like, hey, there's some mesh breakage, like the hand is going through the shoulder, or like something like that. Compute is perfect for that. I've used it on many occasions. So if you don't want to click, like manually go into edit motion layer tool, click on the hand and move it and do the keyframes and stuff like that, compute often does that by itself, and it's amazing. Like I've used that on so many occasions. So I wish I would have talked more about the compute feature, but yeah, thanks for the question. Great question. And you can use compute to kind of really fix small issues like that, just like that. And if the neck is twisted in a weird way as well, like if you find out your neck is twisted at this certain point, make a keyframe before the neck twist, make a keyframe after the neck twist, and then in the middle, use compute, and it'll fix the issue. Normally, it'll notice like, hey, people's necks don't twist in that way, so compute, and it'll fix it. So yeah, really good for that sort of stuff. Chad asks, what date will the January Infinity poses be available to use for AccuPOSE? Um, Gosh, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not super familiar with the release dates of the new libraries, Chad, but thanks for the question. I can't really give you more info on that. I don't have that info with me right now, so but thanks. It should be fairly soon though. Let me just make sure that the chat is on. All right. All right, so Zola. Hey, Zola. How can I get AccuPOSE? Just go to the AccuPOSE site. Or sorry, AccuPOSE is actually included with iClone. So what I showed you, everything today I showed you except for the parkour motion is completely free. So again, the parkour motion, if you want to add that on, then throw in the infinity and you're good to go. But it's already included. Just make sure you update your iClone to the latest version. And you can do that from Reallusion Hub. Okay, I got the question from Rosemary here. Rosemary Claire Gillen. I purchased the subscription, but animations shown in the sales ad do not appear. For example, getting on a motorbike. I think the motorbike one, I saw that too, and I was like, huh? The motorbike one is not available yet. I think it should be coming momentarily. Again, these are the only ones that we have right now. So I have Infinity, obviously, but obviously, all the ones here that are available. So I don't think the motorcycle one is up on the library yet, but that should be momentarily. I think they're just kind of finalizing things on that. There are a few that'll be released in the very, very near future, like within a month here. So apologies for that. All right, Siddharth. Thanks, Siddharth. So Michael asks, can we add a search to pose presets? Oh man, good question. So again, generally when we launch something like this, that's a very good suggestion, to be honest, Michael. Adding a search to pose presets, because as you can see, there's so many things in the library, and as the library gets larger, it's going to be super annoying to go through it and find things. So very good suggestion, Michael Hickman. I think that yeah, I think that's something that we definitely need. I completely agree with that. Yeah, a search field in the AccuPOSE panel would be excellent idea. All right. Thanks for that suggestion. Another question from Rosemary. My other question was for my guy's foot kept sticking. He was doing some wild movements. If you've already answered this, then feel free to ignore it. If your foot is sticking, I think maybe you saw the reach target thing that I showed earlier, where you need to change the timing of the reach target. That one is probably, I'm not sure if you have a reach target on it or not, but again, I'd have to see the actual project, but it could be a reach target. Could be any number of things. Foot sticking is it's a sticky situation. But sorry, I can't answer that without seeing the project more, but possibly reach target is the only thing I can think of. Um, Amar asks, how to import videos as references for using rotoscope features. When I import it, it takes as a background image. Okay, good question, Amar. I think this is an easy fix. This is a fairly new computer. Maybe I have some default images on it. So an image will import the same as a video. Pictures? Do I have any screenshots? Nope. I have no pictures on this computer. But if you import in a picture, maybe I have on my desktop something. Nope. Downloads. Did I download a picture? Nope. Anyways, I don't know. When you let's just go to Google and I don't know, download something real quick. That cat. I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my mind. So if I have a picture of a fat cat, it looks cute. And I import it in. Let's save it to my desktop as whatever. Mobile vet. All right. So if I import a image onto, this is kind of a little trick that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. Gosh, this is annoying. All right, now gonna have to go the other way here. My screen is in the middle of the sun here. So if I import in an image, there is mobile vet. If you right click and drag it from your Explorer, there's a number of options you have. There's IBL, which is an image-based lighting. That'll be like your background image lighting source. It's another whole nother thing. Image layer will basically plaster it to your screen, to your camera. So this is not what you want if you're rotoscoping, obviously. A plane will import it as a plane. This is probably what you want. If you import it as a plane, it'll import as a prop, as a flat object in your scene, which is generally probably what you want. If you're doing like orthographic rotoscoping, you want to use something like that. Billboard will import it as same thing as a plane, but with a billboard, the billboard will always be facing the camera. So if you rotate the camera, the billboard will always be facing the camera, which may or may not be what you want. But with rotoscoping, generally you don't want that. But I would import it in as a plane. Okay, so we have this kitty, and just be aware if it imports in as a plane, it'll have lighting effects unless you just use self-illumination. So where are we here? Oh, materials. Self-illumination on your cat, which you can see down here. Self-illumination. I think it's up further. There should be one called self-illumination somewhere here. Not sure why that's not showing up. Am I just missing it? Illumination. Oh yeah, glow self-illumination scale. Wait, what? No, that's IBL. That's where did that self-illumination thing go? Interesting. Maybe we have to change it to PBR. Nope. I shouldn't have gotten into that. Oh, self-illumination, the slider. Okay, there you go. Self-illumination slider. I was looking for a checkbox. Anyway, self-illumination, the slider. Okay, again, if you don't want to be affected by the shadows and light in the scene, there you go. All right. Thanks for the question there, but that's how you would do it with rotoscoping, and you would just kind of press F. If you press the F key, A, S, D, F, that'll give you a kind of an orthographic view of that image. All right. What a cute little guy. All right, thanks for the question there, though, Amar. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Rosemary has a question, another question, whether your guy's going in super slow motion. If your guy's going in super slow motion, generally there's a fix for that. Let's find our dude in the scene here. Uh, which one is he? Why is there two guys in the scene? Let's get Kitty Cat out of the way here. Oh, my Q&A is. Oh, did I make him invisible or something? Oh, I'm not sure why that's selecting. Okay, here he is up here. That might be the reach dummies. So if I have a clip right here and I want to make it slower or faster, just make sure over in the timeline you have this active, speed. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see the speed right there. Click on that and you can click and drag to make the speed faster or slower. And you'll see the speed percentage here. So 125%, make it faster. 162% right there. So it'll show you how fast the thing is. All right. Hope that answers that question for you, Rosemary. Next question from Anonymous. Is there an easy way to animate going from lying down face first to getting up? Yeah, lying down face first. I mean, how would you have to picture it in your head, or watch a video of how a person uh, gets from their lying prone on the ground to standing up. I think generally you'd put your hands on the ground first. You'd push yourself forward, and then you would stand up like that. I'm trying to picture it in my head. But yeah, again, Anonymous with the AccuPOSE tool, it's really easy. AI will generally probably do that for you, to be honest. If you have the prone, click on the prone preset, and you bring it back up, it'll probably just do it automatically for you. Maybe a little bit of tweaking like I did. Like the example I showed with the standing up to sitting and lying down, it's similar, basically the same thing, except just the opposite direction. So just adding a couple edit motion layer modifications in there should do the trick. Siddharth asks, how is this motion blur coming? We already have the motion blur active, I believe. So if you haven't seen it on your iClone yet, probably just go ahead and update it. Another question from Anonymous. I have a question if I want to apply a part of an AccuPose pose, like just the upper body or the arm, like I want my character wave while sitting. Okay, so good question. If you want to have only one part of the AccuPose pose, there's the motion mixer tool available. So AccuPose again here in the control panel. We have this copy and paste state. Okay, so you can copy and paste the state. What we have here is hip influence upper body. That's not really relevant. Where did I see that before? Again, I haven't used it myself, but I know there's a way to do it. No, it's not that. Oh, maybe it's in the so with the edit motion layer tool, you have the pose mixer. I think you should be able to use this one to do it. So just copy and paste your pose. So select which part of the body you want. So say, for example, I want to copy the upper part of this body, copy pose. And then I go to, let's bring in another character here. Ba, 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 let's not bring in a horse. Bring a good old Kevin. He's a good reliable dude. So we can put Kevin in like I don't know, some sort of pose. Something like this pose. And then using the edit motion layer tool, we paste that pose. Okay. Oh, we pasted the entire body. Again, Control Z, and only select the upper body and paste that. Oh. Oh, pose mixer, right. So upper body and paste the pose. Nope. Why is it pasting that? It should only be pasting. Okay, there we go. Paste the lower body, or we pasted the lower body anyways. Again, it should be the same thing with the upper body. The feet should not move. Maybe because the feet aren't locked. Let's try and lock them and see if that works. Nope. It don't care if the feet are locked or not. Body part mode. I think maybe just the arms. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's make sure the hip isn't selected. We can't select the hip separate from the torso. All right. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the top is working too hard, and I think that may be because this character's root is in a different place, and maybe because of that, there may be a conflict there in the root position. So that's the only thing I can think of that would cause that issue. Yeah, I mean, you can obviously just do the arms, obviously, but maybe it's just the twisting is too weird. There's these two motions aren't compatible for that, but that's generally how you would do it, is you would copy and paste the pose, one of the AccuPoses from one to the other, using the Edit Motion Layer tool pose mixer there. Good question, though. Sorry, my example didn't work, didn't pan out, but there's a ton of conflicts that can occur, with that sort of stuff. At least his arms are the same. All right. David Wolf asks, is it possible to use AccuPose to custom poses that were created in another DCC? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can mix AccuPose poses with anything. You can import it in from any program. Yeah, 100%. I showed you the flip example, the back flip example there. That could be a motion from anywhere. It could be motion from Unreal. It could be motion from, Mixamo, whatever. Yeah, thanks for the question, though. Gregory Howard asks, if you subscribe for a year and need to cancel, do you retain access for the poses you obtained during that year? Yeah, absolutely. So good question, Gregory. Gregory asks if you subscribe to AccuPose Infinite and you have a bunch of poses that you saved. Do you have access to those poses? Yeah, absolutely. There's not going to be any DRM protection on your poses. You can subscribe for a certain amount of time. You can create as many poses as you want. And save all those poses as much as you want. Obviously, the only downfall is you're not going to be able to use the mixing, the AI generative, or not the generative, the AI intelligence of AccuPose to fix those. All right. Rosemary mentions I have no AccuPose in my timeline. Make sure you have the character selected. You have to have your character selected in order to get the AccuPose track available. So if you don't have a character selected, you're not going to see AccuPose here. Next one from D Abbott. Hey D, is AccuPose an updated version of Mixed Moves or completely different? Completely different from Mixed Moves. Mixed Moves is, not bad. Obviously, it's a previous iteration, but we've improved on it a lot. AccuPose is 100 times better than Mixed Moves, in my opinion. Well worth it, to be honest. Dustin asks, any webinars or tutorials in the future for CC4 Omniverse? Very good question. Dustin, if you want to see a webinar on Omniverse in the future, feel free to put that in the feedback form. The more people that give us feedback on a specific topic, the more likely we are to do it. So I haven't seen a lot of demand for Omniverse. Most of the demand is for Blender and Unreal Engine 5, to be honest. But if we get enough interest in Omniverse, I'm familiar with Omniverse. I'm not a pro at it, but yeah, we can work that out. Question from Amar: make more tutorials for rotoscoping. All right, again, put it in the feedback form. We base our future planning on your feedback exclusively. So if any of you guys are interested in something, give us the feedback. Whether it be through YouTube comments or the feedback form from the webinars. You can contact our customer support. Just let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see. We'll do it. I'm a performance monkey. All right. Another question from Dustin. Tips or tricks regarding the above question? Yeah. Again, uh, let us know, guys. We're always open to your feedback and we welcome it. What's on the horizon for new AccuPose content, new pose genres? I will know more about that next week. Again, we have an annual meeting on, the what we're going to be working on in the next year. So now is not really a good time to ask me, but next week will be. But thanks for the question, Daryl. Again, similar to Actor Core, if you guys know the Actor Core library, we've just been like pumping out stuff with Actor Core. And it's a really cool library of content we've built up now. So I'm sure that AccuPose will be the same thing. So many Accu stuff. Rod asks, can AccuPose work well with physics activated? Yes, absolutely. I think was it Graham or someone who had previously asked AccuPose with physics? Yeah, absolutely. They're unrelated, to be honest. Physics, of course, is going to be physics objects in your scene or soft cloth physics on your character. So that's a whole nother can of worms. I just put out a tutorial on using soft cloth physics in Blender. So make sure you take a look at our latest YouTube videos. There's a good tutorial on physics softcloth in Blender, how you can import that back and forth from iClone to Blender. Siddharth asks, how is the motion blur coming? I think I mentioned that earlier. Octavius, upon launching AccuPose, when I click one pose, then move to some frames and click a different pose, they are separate in the timeline. Is there a way to automatically link the different poses to make smooth animations? Yeah, I mean, generally you just kind of click one pose and click the other pose. It's going to create a motion clip by default, okay? So I'll use Kevin here to demonstrate. He looks like he's about to kick Kevin in the ass. All right, so back in AccuPose here. So one pose to the next pose. Again, like daily life, we'll just use the core one for example here. I don't know, kneel to squat forward. Let's try this one. Kneel to Neil Seiza. Oh, they're both looking at something. What's that over there? Okay, so double click on this. Again, it's going to create a motion clip in your motion track automatically, and you'll see the two AccuPose keyframes right there. Okay, so again, that seems like a natural transition, I guess. And again, you can change the timing with the Edit Motion Layer tool, but it creates that clip, and that's how easy it is to transition between two motions or two AccuPose motions. Hopefully that answered your question there, Octavius. Okay, we'll do a few more questions. We got tons of questions coming in here. We'll answer a few more questions, and then we'll end it off. James Bowen asks, is there a way to change the resolution within the platform? Running a 4090 and when I animate things, they have a tendency to look pixelated. To change the resolution within iClone. Man, no, honestly, I don't think there is. That's one of the things that I kind of got frustrated with as I got my new computer. As you can see, my resolution is quite high on this. Like, everything looks kind of small. At least it does for me. Maybe on your screen, everything looks bigger. But you guys probably have big screens. I'm on a laptop here. But yeah, there's no way, unfortunately, to modify the resolution within iClone, which I think there should be, to be honest. Because I encountered this myself just recently. So thanks for the suggestion, James. I think that hopefully we can find a way to change the resolution of the program without having to mess around with a video card and resolution settings outside of the program. But yeah, thank you for that. I'm with you, buddy. All right, next question from Nicholas Valerio. Will the compute function consider all the bones/joints? Is there a way to limit it to just specific bone? For example, if a hand is going through the head, is there a way to only compute for the hand? Does it matter? Very good question. Unfortunately, it's going to be an overall thing right now. And that is a really good suggestion for a future update for AccuPose. For those of you who didn't kind of get my blah, 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 Nicholas asked about isolating the compute function to a certain specific joint or a specific body part. And as far as I know, that's not available right now. If we go to Control Panel and Compute, If we do something like this preset right here, which is hip, head, and limbs, that's going to put all the control points on. Compute isn't going to do much for this, but you can see it basically, if we reset, oh, whoops, not reset, sorry. If we uncompute it, let's say, let's change this a little bit. Let's modify it like this. Let's take its head and rotate it forward. Like this looks kind of unnatural, right? But we have constraints on all of the body parts, really. Let's just do this just to make sure everything is on, including these. Because if we compute now, oh, make sure the toes are on there too. We do something like this and press compute. Oh, maybe it does. We can, I think if you lock them, I didn't know this. Okay, so this is interesting. If you lock them, if I unlock them, for example, I click on none. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to work with this particular motion here. I think because it's a motion already, but maybe it does look natural enough. I don't know. Let's try and change it to something really wacky. Oh, let's change our position to something like, we got to find something really wacky that it won't know what to do with. So like this, and we put all the points on, compute. Yeah, so you can't really isolate it, I don't think, to a specific point. Let's try this again with the lock on the chest and lock on the arms here. Oh, okay, there you go. Interesting. So if we put the locks on the chest and the arms, or not the locks, rather the control points constraints on the head and the arms, or the chest and the arms, compute will do something completely different. So again, if we take those off and compute, there you go. All right. Thanks, Nicholas. I didn't know. I always just use compute as a total overall way to fix things in general. So I never came across that in my travels. I mean, this still doesn't look great, but maybe because the hand locks are on. But if we take all the locks off and recompute, it doesn't seem to change things. All right, but it seems like you can semi-isolate things, I guess. Okay, but yeah, I'll have to experiment more with that. But thanks for the question, Nicholas. That was really good. And I'd have to look more into that myself. All right, thanks, Zola. Carlos asks, could this be used to extend motion packs already purchased, such as combat or hand-to-hand? Absolutely, that's a really good question, Carlos. So for example, if you already have a motion content pack that has like, sneaking with like a gun or something like that, and you you can basically accentuate that really with all these kind of combat moves, these combat poses. For example, this assassin preset right here, or sword and shield, for example. I know we have that pack. You can definitely use that as kind of to accentuate, certain motions. There's a tutorial that I launched a little while ago that talks about how to modify a punch. So there's a boxer punching. I'm not sure if anyone's seen that tutorial, but there's a boxer punching, and in that tutorial I use AccuPOSE to kind of accentuate that punch. So add a bit more of a wind up and a bit more of a follow through to the punch. That's a good one to check out for exactly what Carlos is talking about. So say this is kind of a little stabby. That's a big stabby. Okay, I don't know. Sound like an idiot. All right. That's a high stab. That's a low stab. Oh, ah. That's pretty cool. All right. Anyways, thanks for the question, Carlos. Again, you can see you can have too much fun with this stuff. Siddharth asks, is there a timeline benchmark between two poses? I'm not clear on that question, but I did demonstrate that a little bit earlier. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, Rosemary's clarifying her previous question there. So again, I don't really know how to fix that. Amar says, I want to import videos. So Amar, to import videos and import images, it's the same method. So just right click and drag the video or the image. Doesn't really matter, video or image. I just wanted to show how to do it. So right click and drag it from your Explorer. Hopefully Amar is there and can um, hear me there. But yeah, right click and drag a video, image, the same thing. Linda Taylor says you keep passing it. Not sure what that is for. If you can clarify, Linda, I'm not sure what I passed. So that, I think that was the the self-illumination stuff earlier. Yeah, I'm not used to doing webinars this early in the morning, so bear with me. Thanks for that, though. Rosemary says, "Great, it looks quite cool in slow-mo." Yep, everything looks cooler in slow motion. Not sure if you guys remember that old Dave Chappelle skit, slow motion, long time ago. Morad asks, hi, when I flatten my animation with constraints, the head loses its position. It is animated expression layer constraint. Um, gosh. So if you have an animation, you flatten the animation with the animation has constraints, the head will lose its position. Yeah, so flattening the head if you have a constraint on the head, uh, like a reach target, you'd have to be more specific on the constraint type. If it's a reach target, it should still, you can actually save. Yeah, good question. If it's a reach target, save that clip. Save it as a clip. Save it as a clip. Do not flatten the animation. Save it as a clip first. So that's a good question, Morad. Save it out as an animation clip first, and that will save the constraint data into the clip, right? So I've never really encountered that. If you flatten it, it'll mess with the constraints. It shouldn't, but if you encounter that, just save your motion that you have first, or else don't flatten it. Just add an animation layer. Like I did earlier here in the animation layer panel. That should fix that. That would be my first two troubleshooting steps. First would be first I would add an animation layer so it doesn't mess with the previous layers or the constraints. My second step, if that didn't work, would be just to save out the motion and then just re-import it and work on it again, because that would save the constraint data into the motion clip. Hopefully that is clear. Okay, Carlos answered it. Good. Rosemary, thanks. I'd go for a webinar on Omniverse. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Omniverse. All right. D asks, are there any fight scene tutorials using AccuPOSE in the near future? Suggest for the survey. All right, thanks. Yeah, I'd love to do a fight scene using only AccuPOSE. As you can see, like even this guy, he could be like, huh, 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 huh. It could be like fencing or something like that, right? It'd be really easy to do a fencing scene with AccuPOSE using just these presets, just these pose presets, blocking. It could be like, huh, block. Okay, I messed. This is a bad example, but block, attack low. Okay, so here I'd probably do a little bit of planting of the feet with the reach targets again, but you know, always fun to do something like that. Question from Nicholas. Okay, we'll do two more questions and then we're going to end off, guys. So apologies for that. We're going to end off at the hour here if I didn't get to your question there. Nicholas, are the AccuPOSE options, locking, compute, etc., available within Blender through the Blender pipeline? Are they available with Blender or only accessible with iClone? Yeah, good question, Nicholas. They're not available since AccuPOSE is kind of a exclusive tool to iClone. Those tools will not be available within the Blender auto setup tool. Yeah, that's probably not a possibility that I see in the future. So it'll have to be done exclusively in iClone, and then once you're done in iClone, throw it into Blender. Again, it's super easy, as you probably know. Just single click and you're done. But thanks for the question, Nicholas. Last question goes to Rod here. All right, is Relusion planning on launching a project pitch that is more for individuals versus studios? Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not in the marketing department, so that's not really my my thing. But yeah, I would be very surprised that they didn't. Again, if there's more feedback that requests that, they'd be more than happy to acquiesce. Um, all right. We're gonna end off there, guys. I think we don't have many more questions to answer, but mostly just saying thanks, cool, good stuff. All right, so thank you so much, everyone here for being with us and sticking with me here. I know it's been a 2 hour long webinar. We had a lot of questions, a lot of interest in this amazing new tool. Again, the more you experiment with AccuPOSE, the more fun you're going to have. It just makes animation so easy. Previous to this, keyframe animation, frame by frame animation was it's so annoying. It's troublesome. But with AccuPOSE, it's actually really fun just to kind of see what kind of pose it's going to come up with, like something like this. Like how is it going to modify things? How is it going to change the pose that you have already? Like if I just take the elbow, what's it going to do? If I take the knee, what's it going to do? It'll kind of stretch things out like this, and he'll do like a pose, and it's all going to change as well, like depending on your pose preset. So again, like I mentioned, every pose preset has different control points and different locks and everything like that. So yeah, just experiment with it, have fun. There's nothing more fun than uh, playing around with AccuPose. So I highly recommend it. But yeah, thanks everyone. Lovely to have you here again, and thank you so much for attending today. Hopefully, you learned at least a little bit, and check out other tutorials on the website for more detailed stuff, more refined and pre-planned stuff on the Learning Center there. And yeah, I think we're good to go. And love to have you guys here. I'm going to say good morning to you here from everyone here in Japan, and good night over in North America, and almost good morning in Europe. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you later.